Are you ready to create a life you crave? Let's spin that doom loop of negativity into an upward success cycle and start living lucky.
Good morning.
I'm Jana.
I'm Jason.
And we are living lucky.
You are too.
We just returned from our dance competition
In Detroit.
Now, we've said this many times. Let go of the expectations. Let go of the expectations. Let go of the
Expectations. Easier said than done.
thank you. Because Sunday came and in my head, we had won the competition. In my head, everybody was going to be so excited about the new couple in para dance.
Look at Jana and Jason.
What? And we were going to have Dancing with the Stars just itching at our feet, wanting us to be on the show.
Go home and wait for the phone to ring.
That wasn't our reality.
We placed. We placed
last. So here's the thing. We say it so many times. You know what? You have to focus on what you did well. You have to just be excited about the fact that we actually
got in the arena.
We got in the arena. We showed up. We have been practicing. The fact that we got 5 dances together to even compete in the Latin division.
Yeah, 5 Latin dances plus a showcase dance.
Is huge.
Or freestyle is what they called it here.
It's huge. And sometimes there is a gap in where you're at in your imagination and your manifestation and where you are in reality. And the problem is that so many people value the reality more than they value their imagination and where they're going.
And sometimes you can, I like to put everything into an analogy of like a road trip because a lot of time it's about the journey.
Yes, it's about the journey.
And when you're on a journey, there are exits on a highway, right? And sometimes it can look like this exit leads me to what my imagination, what that vision of my future, what that grand thing looks like. And so we start putting all of our energy and hopes and dreams into what this exit that I'm taking and hoping that that's going to produce this reality of the vision. And I got caught up in it. You got caught up in it.
I got caught up in it. And I'm actually embarrassed of how it affected me so much. Like, so Sunday was the last day of the competition. And so Saturday, we had already been placed last in our freestyle dance. And we had a couple judges tell us personally that we were deducted heavily for the
Props.
baton, which is considered a prop, and then not keeping the prop on me. I actually threw it to Jason during our dance. And the second thing was that I had a cape that I started the dance with, and then we put the cape to the floor, which again is losing a prop. So we had a couple judges that came over to us and said, you know what, you were deducted heavily for those 2 things, and that probably affected the results.
Your placement, yeah.
However, we were placed last. So I went to bed and I was frustrated that night and I felt defeated. And yet there was something in me that said, I'm a fierce competitor. I'm going to get up and we're going to go tomorrow.
Come out guns a-blazing.
And we're going to show them who we are. So on Sunday, we came out, and again, there's a lot that goes into it. There's hair, there's makeup, I had been working for weeks on our
taping
costumes.
Up body parts.
We had a spray tan. I mean, seriously, like we put so much into this. And not only have we put time and energy into this, we've spent a lot of money. I mean, the last week,
it's just resources in general
of just preparing. We didn't have a place to practice, and because our teacher was on vacation and then we were in Kansas. So I actually invested in a place that we could go
renting out extra studios
and practice, which was $50 an hour. And we would go and we would practice for 2 hours. So, that's $100 a pop in just practicing.
Yeah.
Just practicing. And you're thinking, oh, well, why can't you just practice at home? Well, I'll tell you why. There's couches and there's carpet and there's
a 20-foot by 40-foot floor.
Yeah, and
it's open.
Right? And then we would go outside and it would be so hot that we would get frustrated. And so I was just trying to make it as easy as possible for us to get better.
Yeah, and it's better to practice in an environment that's similar and like
the one that you're
going to be performing
exactly. We want to practice like we perform.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sunday comes and we did the best that we possibly could. It wasn't great. However, I will say, right before we went on stage, I'm like, why aren't they doing the dances in the order that I had researched? And we found out that was an international thing. So Jason and I had practiced the cha-cha, then the samba. And in our heads, we had come up with a system. The cha-cha is like your first date where you're just flirting with the person and you're like, hey, let's dance together. And then the samba is the second date where you're like, let's go out and get wasted.
If that's your
Carnival, baby.
Yeah,
let's
party
dance.
time.
Let's party together. And then the third date is the rumba where you're actually like, you know what?
Seductive.
I think this might work for us. Let's take it to an intimate level. And then the fourth date is the paso doble, where you're like, you know what? You drive me crazy and I can't live without you. Right? There's a passion and a madness and a masculinity to that dance. And then the fifth dance is the jive, which is fun and silly. It's almost like
we made it through this. We can make it through anything. Let's just enjoy life.
Let's just enjoy life. It's like going to the grocery store and bringing out your silly self and saying, this is who I really am. So just accept me authentically and let's just be cheesy and fun.
That's how we go to the grocery store.
That's the jive. Okay, so that is the sequence of dances. Right before we go out, I'm serious. The dance before we go on the floor, I look at Jason and our coach, Ariana, and I say, they're not doing the cha-cha. They are starting with the samba. What the heck? Right?
Yeah.
So Ariana's like, okay, let me go check on this. So Ariana has been doing dance competitions for 30 years. She's not 30 years old, but for her 25 years of life, she's been doing dance competitions.
I'm sure she was dancing in the womb.
Right? And so she's like, okay, let me go check on this. So she's literally going and asking the judges and the executives there, okay, what's happening here?
So in Europe, they start with the samba.
So that's what we had to do. So in the last minute, we're changing the order of our dances.
We're the only American team there.
Now you think, okay, that's not a big deal. Well, it kind of is a big deal because
it's a big deal for me.
Because for Jason, we had tried to simplify it to the point where during the cha-cha, you go to this area of the floor. And the samba, we're going to walk over to this area of the floor to start the dance.
And life is a series of patterns. And once you figure out the patterns, and it's pattern optimization. So I had kind of formulated my plan for this experience around these patterns.
Again, it goes back to expectations and being able to adapt in the moment and not veer off into that, this isn't working out the way I want it to.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Because the minute you go into that mindset,
then you start building that evidence.
You're going to go down
and you create that
tunnel.
That rabbit hole of darkness.
Okay, so then we go out there and we did our best. It wasn't great, but we came off the floor. We were excited about our performance.
We got through it. Like that was me. I was like, yes, it's over.
We were celebrating.
We did well.
And in fact, we went over to the commentator and we actually did a little interview afterwards. We felt like rock stars. We were like, yeah, Go us.
Yeah, boom.
Woo,
Wow.
woo. That is Jana and Jason, and we just showed you how to dance, baby. Right?
Well, so we took two people, or at least me, who had not danced in 40-something years.
Yes.
And trained him in steps, choreographed motion to a beat, sped it up, like got me from 0 to 60.
We did, and we were so excited about it.
Did that in I think a short amount of time. And we were out there as the only amateur couple.
No, this is how excited we were. When we got off that floor, we went over and did the interview. We were wearing green. And we were in front of a green screen.
Floating heads.
And I didn't care. And that tells you right there how excited I was, because I didn't even care that
looked like floating
heads. If you don't know anything about broadcasting, if you are wearing the same color as the background color, you will literally blend and look like a floating head. And I was like, let's do the interview anyway.
It was funny.
We don't even need to go and change our clothes. That's how freaking awesome we are.
Broadcast to the world.
And I know you need to talk to us right now, because we are the champions. That's what we are.
It's our heads that matter.
Our big fat heads. Okay, so then we are ready to go change our clothes, because I need to get out of these high heels and these pantyhose that I'm wearing, which I haven't worn pantyhose in 30 years. We go to change our clothes, and I happen to look at the program and I say, wait a minute, there's another
Latin dance.
combi class 1 written right here. What does that mean? So again, our coach, Ariana, is like, I don't know, let me go check it out. So she goes off to talk to the judges and to talk to the executives, and she comes back and she says, we're dancing again.
Yeah. First one wasn't even judged.
Yeah, she goes, the first one wasn't judged. We don't even need to make the finals. We're in like Flynn. And
I'm like, yeah, baby. I was like, for me, it probably would have been best if the first one, like I missed a couple steps and things.
I didn't. I was perfect in the first one.
And it probably would have been best for me if the first one had been judged. Mm-hmm. Because then I started really getting in my head when I was like, the first one wasn't judged. Now I'm being judged.
Okay.
Because at first I was so worried about just the dance.
Yes.
I wasn't worried about the dance and being judged.
So we go out for the second dance, okay? And it went okay. It wasn't great. Although our teacher thought we did well.
She said we did better the second time.
I didn't feel that. However, we come off and we're celebrating again because we showed up and we played full out. We've been consistent, and our goal was really to compete in an international competition.
Yeah, and the underlying goal was to have more fun in life.
Yes.
To connect more deeply.
Yes.
To develop a system where we could find the rhythm daily and dance with each other, whether it's with fear, with doubt, with
That
decisions.
was the goal. That was the intention. However, there's a little fierce competitor that lives inside Jana. And when it came time to announce the winners, and they start with last place, and all of a sudden they say from the United States, and I'm thinking, oh, poor Cheryl. That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm thinking, oh, it's the other couple from the U.S. Like, oh, that's too bad.
Too bad they came in last.
I'm sorry for them. They really like
Jana and Jason.
They were
Scheffer.
like, yeah,
Couple number 26.
Jana and Jason, and I literally was like, wait, did they make a freaking mistake?
We're last?
That can't be. That totally cannot be. That's how it almost like. It was almost like I had delusional confidence in that moment, because I'm living in my imagination of where we're going. Yep. I'm living in where we are going. And that's great when it comes to manifestation. That is exactly what you want to do when you're living in manifestation. However, the problem is sometimes the gap that we face is that we're not experiencing it in reality. And I just want to remind myself, if this podcast is for anyone right now, it is for Jana Shelfer in Winter Garden, Florida. There is a latency period. When you know in your mind and you have the clarity in your mind of where you're going and what you want, that is a positive. That is a positive thing. And you will get there. You will get there. It is universal law. It is physics.
When you keep taking the steps towards it.
You just need to continue to show up with consistency, playful out, and you need to keep living in where you're going. The problem is when we fall off and say, yeah, but that's not really happening.
Yeah. And I think a lot of times as we listen to people on the outside, so like the judges, they have a set of criteria that they have to judge against. And we are the only two amateur couple, like we are the amateur couple. Everyone else there was either professional or professional amateur.
Which is no excuse.
It's no excuse.
It just means we need to raise our game.
And the judges say we have to judge on this. Doesn't mean that we're not going to the same place we started out to.
Exactly.
We don't need to change our game, but oftentimes in life, we feel like we're hearing this judgment from outside, then we start saying, I'm not enough. I need to change my goal. I need to change my plan.
Yes.
No. Stay authentically you. Be consistent with your dream and your belief and your reality, and just keep taking those steps forward.
We start valuing or putting more worth, we start valuing the opinion of others, the external world, instead of what we know in our souls. And that really is what it all comes down to in life. When you can connect with your soul and say, this is what I want, and then you connect that with your divine design, there is nothing that's going to stop you except for you.
Yeah, and that's where, when we talk about our 4 pillars of believe in yourself, believe in the people around you, you cultivate
Believe in your circumstances and believe that God is working through you, for you, and always in your favor. I just finished that for you. Go ahead.
Thank you. But we cultivate the people around us. Like, there are inherently going to be people around us, but if we have our group, like our cheering section, then they can help us stay attuned to where we're going. Like, they see the map.
I'm going to just tell you, I believe wholeheartedly in our coach. I think she's the best coach on the planet, and she needs to believe that because it's true. I believe in the community that we have created around us. We are at Fred Astaire Winter Park, and they root for us. They support us.
And the Living Lucky Bunch.
I believe in, yes, everyone that shows up for virtual coffee and is constantly like, go, Jana, Jason, we are living vicariously through you. You can do it. Yes, we have surrounded ourselves with friends, with people.
It's a support system.
It is. It's a team.
It's an uplifting support system. It doesn't mean they're going to feed
Mind Valley has
delusional aspirations, but what they will do is they will say, I believe in you, and I will hold you accountable to your dreams and your aspirations.
And you can get better.
Yes.
You can get better. So it's letting go of the expectation and realizing it's only feedback. It's not failure. It's not failure that we came in last.
Word.
It is not failure. It is only feedback. And feedback just means, okay, we might have to pivot a little bit. It doesn't mean to throw our hands up and say, you know what? This sport isn't for me.
Go find a new dream. No.
No,
stay on the path.
Okay, hey, let's just pivot a little bit. Let's get better. Let's keep working. And it's the universe's way of testing us to say, is this what you really want?
Yeah. It's like the butterfly getting out of its chrysalis. The wings have to get strong, and then at the end, you just fly away. You're unconquerable.
All right, let's soar.
Keep living lucky.
Thanks for listening to us. This was a little bit of a vent as well as an educational lesson for us. So I hope it helped you too. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
See you next week.
If the idea of living lucky appeals to you, visit us at startlivinglucky.com.